Let's go to Brandon in St. Louis. What's up, Brandon?
What's up, Dr. D?
How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. What's up, brother?
Hey, I just had a quick question for you.
Hey, hold on. How old are you?
I am 22, about to turn 23.
All right, man. It's like 10 to 15 years and counting, and it's going to be colonoscopy time. Just go ahead and put that on your calendar, my man. All right.
That's right.
What's up, dude?
Hey, my wife and I, we've been married for a little over 3 months now, and I'm just wondering if you have any advice for keeping a healthy and sustainable marriage. And the reason I'm asking is I just feel like we're fighting a lot, especially for only being married for 3 months. And I'm wanting things to change and just wanting to know if you have any advice for being a better husband and keeping a better relationship with my wife.
What are y'all fighting about, man?
Man, the primary things that we fight about are like the way we both handle physical touch. My wife is not a physical touch person and I am. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like she's definitely like changed. We both try to meet in the middle, but sometimes I just kind of get upset because it's still different. And then, hold on.
Let's dig into that real quick and then we'll go to the next one.
Yeah.
You phrased that as, you spoke about that as differences in physical touch needs, okay? Very common in marriages. But the way you landed there was you feel deceived. She changed on you. She used to be one way. You thought you were getting one thing, and now you've got something else. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so when we were dating, I like to hold hands and, like hug kind of in public. And I try not to be cringy or anything, obviously.
Okay, good. Don't be gropey, Gary the Groper.
No,
don't be that guy.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
All right.
And she was very hesitant to do that. And when closer to the time we were getting married, I asked her if that was going to change when we were married because, we were going to make a lifetime commitment to each other. And she was telling me that it was going to be different because we were going to be married and it's changed a little bit, but I don't think that it's changed as much as I thought. So I don't think that she deceived me by any means, but it kind of is a little different than what I was thinking. And
okay, so
you're trying to work through that.
You just nailed it. You have a picture of what lifetime commitment looks like.
Yeah.
And it's that we are high touch, high intimacy, sex all the time. We hold hands in public. She nuzzles the back of my neck. Like, you have all these things that this is what a lifetime commitment romance looks like. Fair?
Right.
And she has a different picture of what lifetime commitment romance looks like. It might be you always have food on the table and the trash just magically disappears from inside the house and the bed magically gets made, right? So her picture of lifetime commitment could look very different. And that is the dance of being married, right? Is coming up with a new picture. Okay, so you're on to the next thing. What was the next thing?
Yeah, I would say that the biggest thing is probably, so there's like little things that may not necessarily need to be a fight at all, but I think they turn into them because we both handle angerness different. So if I'm angry about something, then you've kind of talked about like you use silence as a weapon. That's how I do it, is I'm just kind of turn quiet and kind of shut myself off. Whereas my wife will sort of rage out. And so both are wrong. And I definitely can do better.
No, see, I don't think both are wrong. Both are maybe the situation with which they hurt somebody else or when they are applied to somebody else, right? I'm a guy that defaults to silence until a switch flips. That's what my wife calls it. And man, that's a good thing. I don't say stupid things. I've never hit any, you know what I mean? I'm not a violent guy. And so silence is a great default network. It's when I use silence to get my way. That's when I'm misusing or sometimes exploding like, will you please just hear me? Or I'm so frustrated at it. Man, I totally get that. It's when you do that at somebody and you hurt somebody, right? So I don't want to lionize those things. Let me back up a little bit here. You're 22. How old is she?
She is 21.
Y'all are really young. Why'd you get married so young?
We've been dating for we've been dating for a little over 2 years, about almost 3.
Okay.
And we wanted to get married right after we graduated, just because living situation, and we felt kind of, we wanted to figure things out as we grew up together.
Okay.
Instead of trying to do it separately and then coming together after a while of doing that.
Cool. So let me tell you a story. Like, so when I first got married, I remember the time my wife, and I don't know if I've mentioned this on the show or not. I remember the time my wife was next to me in the bathroom brushing her teeth. And I remember she took her toothbrush and then she put toothpaste on the toothbrush. And because she's a serial killer, she shoved it directly into her mouth and just started brushing her teeth. And I remember looking at her and I said, "You're doing that wrong." To which she's wise and she was like, "I don't know this is a thing that you can do wrong. Enlighten me, Obi-Wan." And I said, "Well, the way you're supposed to do it is you're supposed to put toothpaste on the toothbrush and then put it under the water first and then put it in your mouth, weirdo." And someone who doesn't hate babies. And so we both walked into our marriage with just a picture of here's how you brush teeth, right? Both of you guys are dealing with, I thought my life was going to continue as is. I was just going to have my husband or wife move into my life. And so what you're experiencing, is super normal. Please don't overreact to it, okay? You probably feel trapped. You probably feel buried up to your neck, right? Like, what have I done? Have you had those thoughts?
Oh, yeah.
I wish you would just come in and say, we shouldn't have done this, and she would just leave. Like, I wish I could, like, there's just this, I get it. And then if you're like like many, you have thoughts, and then you get really upset that you had those thoughts. Like you're some kind of bad guy, right? You're not. Okay? What you have is two people trying to live lives in their own lane and drag the other person over into their lane because this is the way life is going to be. And what you haven't done yet, and this is what getting married at 28, 29, or 30 will give you, is some tools to say, we are no longer, the lives we led are over. They do not exist anymore. We now have to, in real time, we have to change the oil on this car while it's driving. We got to decide to build something new together. And that's a totally different proposition. And so the picture you had up about what committed love is going to look like in her picture, neither of those matter. Yeah. Now what matters is, here's a paintbrush, here's some paint, let's paint something new together. Let's figure something else out. And that starts with a conversation that if you can get this down at 22, you will have the greatest marriage of anybody I've ever met. And that is a cyclical, recursive, like back and forth all the time. Every 2 months, every 3 months, every quarter, we're going to have a conversation where we write it down. What are your needs in this season? We're both trying something new. How can I best meet your needs, even if it's going to make me uncomfortable? And I know it's not very popular right now because it's supposed to be like, no, if it doesn't make you uncomfortable, you go do you, bro. That's all stupid. No relationships last with that sort of infantile mentality. What you need is to say, hey, what can I do? Tell me. Here's what I need. I need physical touch. I need sexual intimacy. I need you to pick up your underwear. I need you to help make the bed. And then here's what you can control in that. You. So when somebody calls and says, hey, how do I fix my marriage? Strengthen yourself. Decide, I'm going to be the best freaking husband who's ever lived by meeting needs. And by the way, she's got to participate too. This becomes a very one-sided trip if she's like, forget you, dude. I'm not helping meet your needs, you weirdo. But you have to say these things out loud. And these are best done, like, not in a fight. The little picky fights you're talking about, those are proxy wars. You have no margin. You have no emotional margin. You probably aren't sleeping that well. Your diet's probably all gone to hell. You're just, everything's a mess right now. You've been married 3 months. And then there's just no margin to absorb the where's the cup? I thought you put it over there, and now we're in this fight for no reason, right? Yeah. So it's you've heard me say this so many times, and I wish I could come up with something new. I was thinking about this morning in the gym, like I need to come up with some new material. But really what y'all need to do is go decide, like, hey, I want to take you out. We're 3 months in and we've hit some bumps and some rocks and some, like, just some normal growing pains. Let's make something awesome and let's decide what that's going to look like. And then we're going to practice it as we move forward. And by the way, one thing I want to give you, Brandon, every time you start to get mad or frustrated or sad or loud or angry, stop. Say nothing. Okay? Will you do that?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
I'd love to hear you learn at age 22 to say, I'm going to need a minute. I'll be right back. You're fine. My insides have set on fire and I need a minute. And let me go for a walk real quick. Let me go do 40 push-ups outside. Let me go write something down and then I'll be back. Give me an hour. Give me 45 minutes or whatever. And if you can start that right now, creating a gap between your feeling and then what you say or what you do or getting angry, you're going to have a lot of peace in your home, especially if your wife joins along with you. Are these things possible if you took her out and said, hey, can we just all right, we're 3 months in. I'm trying to force you to live in my world and I feel like I'm getting dragged into your world. And what we need to do is create our world. What would that even look like? Could you start there?
Yeah.
Would she be in on that?
Yeah, she'd be in. She's awesome. Love her to death. I'd say that something else that kind of happens too, and she knows this too, and so I would say that when we get in a fight, it could be something really small. When she gets really upset, and I have done this before, and I try my best not to do it, and I don't think I've done it when we've been married. But she'll lash out and she'll say some like super hateful things, and she'll always apologize after she says them.
Give me an example.
So when she'll get upset about something, or we'll get upset, and then one of the things that she does is if it escalates, she'll say something like, I hate you, or we should have never gotten married. And so a little bit after that, I tell her that really, really makes me mad. And you told me last time you weren't going to say that again. But at the same time, I feel like I really can't. I know that she needs to take responsibility for actions, as I do too, but she grew up in a home where everybody said that.
Okay.
Everybody said that they hated each other. Parents didn't show their love to her, and it's sad. So I'm trying to keep my head up when that stuff happens, but it just makes me really upset.
Sure.
Divorce is never on the table.
Sure.
And so
okay, let me hop in here. Here's your path forward. Okay. Number one, she cannot make you mad. That's a choice you make. Okay. And here's why that's important. It's very important outside of the heat of battle, outside of the heat of a moment. You know what? I'm going to take back what I said. My wife can make me mad. I've given her permission to do that. So I'm going to take that back. You get to choose your response. Very few people. My boss can't make me mad, but I just don't give people that. I don't give them that. I've worked for a decade to decouple myself from other people, but I give my wife permission to make me mad. I love her. She gets permission to speak into my life. I have the choice on how I respond to that, how I act. Here's an important thing y'all need in your marriage is really firm boundaries. So you respond, when she says, I hate you, your response, or I wish we never got married, your response of, that really makes me mad, you've just poured gasoline on a fire.
Right. Good point.
In a non-fight, when you're out to breakfast, you're out to lunch, and you're figuring out, like, all right, how are we going to build this thing? You each get to make rules. And one of the rules for you, one of your boundaries is, if you say that you hate me, you are telling me that you want to end the conversation and you want me to walk away, because that's what I'm choosing to do. I will choose to leave the conversation 100% of the time you tell me you hate me. Every time. And so she's not, she will learn in short order that her husband has very strong boundaries, and then he will opt out quietly with respect, and I'm going to walk away. And by the way, I don't care about her childhood when it comes to that kind of crap. That is infantile, acting like a child. She's got to stop that. Okay? It's destructive. And again, I wish she'd gotten a better model when she was a kid. She didn't. And so she's got to stop. And that's got to be, she's going to practice stopping. That's all she knows. She's 21. She's got a lot of maturity that she's got to undergo in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Or in my case, 30, 40, 50 years. That's a no-go. Absolutely no-go. But that starts with you saying, I will not accept you telling me that you hate me. I will choose to lead that conversation. You see what I'm saying? Your response,
Absolutely.
any response after that is, I'm choosing to punch back. And why, right? It's all, when she crosses over there, you're fighting a generational fight, right? She's fighting her parents. She's fighting their parents. This has nothing to do with you. Step out. Right. And at some point, if she wants to solve the actual challenge that's before you, if she wants to get closer to you, become more intimate with you, she will know, I'm not going to throw that grenade, because that grenade is her choosing. I don't want you in my space anymore. And that's her choosing to be a child, a hurtful child. Just aside, listeners, don't say you hate people. Don't say you hate your spouse or your kids. Don't say you want a divorce. Don't say we never should. Take that crap off the table. You're here. You've done it. You did it. Okay? It's about what are we going to do next. Brandon, I've said this 1,000 times. I'll say it 1,000,000 times more till they cancel the show, which who knows? I feel like I'm always one call away. You can't live your life and drag her into yours, and she can't live her life and drag you into hers. Y'all have to decide that the lives y'all were living are over. They're over. Who are we going to be together? We can both still have our dreams. We can both still have our goals in our lives, but they are now one. They are now together, and we're going to build something together moving forward. And you each get to state along that journey what your needs are. By the way, your needs will change, and you both get to state what the boundaries are. You can't talk to me like that. I don't like to touch in these situations. Fill in the blank. Every couple makes their own rules as they go, but you gotta state them out loud. You can do this, Brandon. Call me back in about 6 months. Let me know how things are going. I'm excited for you guys.